Now, that's a good segue. Let's talk a little bit about your transparency, because I know that one of the hallmarks of when you were on the school board was just how transparent you were. My understanding is not only were you live streaming the meetings, you were the next morning sending out a very detailed notes, if you will, for the public. Because so basically, you're cutting off right away at the pass of don't say you're not aware, you're not informed, right? That will always be the biggest complaint in any organization. We don't know what's going on, no, and how do we? And everyone always wants to. Well, everyone's always looking for some solution, versus like what's the real problem here, right? Or maybe it's just you because you don't want to read your email, and then we can't accommodate everybody's style of receiving communication. So it sounds like you know that, right? Lessons learned from the past, and you're just going to lay it out there and be transparent. True?
Oh, absolutely. And, when I first interviewed, the first time I interviewed for school board, and I wasn't selected, by the way. So I always tell people that because I want people to
you
try
did it
again.
in kindergarten and reapplied in third grade when your son was in third grade?
I did.
By the way, your son went on to be the salutatorian at Bob Jones. So
he did.
He's a smart fella.
He's a great kid. And but when I first interviewed, the city council had just started streaming their meetings. They weren't archiving, but they were streaming. And they asked me, should the school board, what do you think about streaming school board meetings? And I thought, that would be a great idea. I'd love to be able to catch it when I was working at that time when I first applied. I thought it'd be a great idea. So after I did get on the school board, we did contract with a company to provide streaming services. We did not use YouTube or Facebook Live or anything like that, but we had a company do that for us. And streaming was important in terms of letting people know what's going on. Even you might still be at work at your desk because our meetings were at 5 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people were still at work, and I had a hard time even attending school board meetings because a lot of times I was still at work.
Sure.
And so I thought that was really important. Well, then I get on the city council, and we're streaming. That's great, but we're not archiving the meetings. So if you can't catch it at 6 p.m., you're out of luck because it was only that one time. And I led a study group within the city. Greg Shaw was the president at the time, and he called us the Tiger Team. He's an Auburn guy. And he said, I want a group to really study, should we archive our meetings? And so our city attorney, our city clerk, 2 council members, John Seifert and I, we worked together to start looking at what other cities were doing. And indeed, the Big 10 cities, all of them had some form of archiving. Some of them were using Facebook Live. We decided and recommended that we start archiving our meetings so people could be a history of what happened in our meetings, and they could catch it if they couldn't catch the stream. And we decided to contract with a company to do that.
Cool. And that was just one example, right, of transparency.
Oh, sure. I mean, work sessions were never streamed.
Yeah.
So this is something that actually our IT guy told me this recently. He was wanting to know, Renee, do you want this work session streamed? We have a big one coming up Monday night where we're going to talk about redistricting maps and some improvements to Toyota Field that Major League Baseball is going to require. And so he always asked me, do you want it streamed? I said, yeah, I want it streamed. And he Now, this isn't how we used to do it, Renee. We don't always stream. And I went, we do now. We're gonna stream.